Morning, dear. Hey, dude. So, Lightroom is easy. And let me show you what to do with this picture of your dad. I have my tea. Good tea, Paul. Thanks, Paul. So, let me know if you know how to get your file into Lightroom. I'm sure you do, so I've skipped past that part already. Your image of your dad, what you've got going on here is the camera has exposed it correctly. There was just too much shadow on your dad and too much highlights outside. That's a fault of the camera. That's not a fault of you. Camera can't handle that much dynamic range. How we test that is if we click on these little triangles here, click on that one, and it shows in red how much highlight damage I've got. Like the highlights won't fit into the photograph. And if I click here, it shows me how much shadow damage I've got. So this is normal. This small amount of red and blue is normal. That means that the photo is exposed properly, even though it doesn't quite look right. So now you have to fix it using your own eye. Now the photo that you got out of your camera, the JPEG, would have actually looked better than this, right? The camera would have tried some tricks to make it look better. But now we're going to make it look better by ourselves. So the easiest way to do this is to just use this histogram at the top here. Don't even worry about all these other panels. You've got all kinds of awesome things here that you can do later. But if you just use the histogram, and you see how I hover over different parts, different sections highlight, okay? In the middle here, you've got a big block. That's your exposure, okay? You see here where it says ISO 400. Watch as I hover over, it tells me which part I'm affecting. So if I'm over here, I'm affecting the black tones, the darkest shadows. If I'm over here, it's affecting the normal tones, the normal shadows. If I'm here, it's affecting the exposure. If I'm here, it's affecting the highlights. And if I'm here, it's affecting the whites, which is the top of your highlights. So the first thing we want to do is we want to grab the exposure. Okay, so all you do is click and drag and watch what's happening. The image is getting lighter, you see? But as it's getting lighter, it's just making the background lighter, really. It's not really helping your dad out. So let's move to another area. The problem area here is obviously the shadows. So we move over into the shadow block and we click and we drag. Ooh, look, your dad starts coming back. Okay, so now you see you've got this nice taper with all the image content in the middle, and then at the top here we've got this massive spike of highlights. Now spikes at the ends of the spectrum aren't good because they mean that all the information is being thrown away. So if we just, let's start here with our highlights first. Before we go to our whites, let's go to our highlights and see if we can bring them down a little bit. So I'm clicking and I'm dragging to the left. Okay, and it's just making the picture dark again. That's not really helpful, so let's put that back. Let's go to our whites. Yeah, that's helping a bit. Look at the screen window over here, and you'll see it's actually bringing back a bit of the outside greenery. You see that? Look. Okay, so that's not bad. That's done a lot of good work. We haven't got any massive spikes except in the middle, and the middle's fine. So let's grab the exposure again, see if we can make any more improvements. Not really. Okay, I'm going to push these shadows up a bit more. Okay, and now I'm going to push the letter Y on the keyboard, which is going to show me a before and after view. So I push Y. Look how much of an improvement we've made. That's your before and after. Okay, now we want to get your dad to have a little bit more punch because now we've lightened him up a little too much. So now we go into the basic panel and see how dragging all these sliders has done all of this stuff. These sliders, when you grab the histogram, it automatically adjusts these things, except for the contrast. So contrast, if we bring the contrast up a little bit, okay, it's a bit too much, maybe just a touch. And then I'm going to grab the exposure again. It's exactly the same if you do it up here or if you do it down here. Okay. Alright, so the photo is already a bunch better. There are some things we could do to change his skin tone, take some of the pink out because he's quite pink now. We could do some tricks, but I'll leave that for another video if you're interested. For now, I just wanted to show you how to basically fix the exposure of a very difficult photo. So make no mistake, this photo is a good photo. It's a very difficult one for the camera to get right. And then what you want to do as far as communication and message is concerned with a photo, you want to explain to people from left to right what the photo is saying. Okay, so this water bottle has very little to do with the photo. This person's head has very little to do with the photo. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the cropping tool over here, and then we're going to grab this top left corner, and you see these grid lines it gives you. You want these grid lines ideally to line up with something important, usually a person's eye. Okay, Gareth is meant to be in the picture. He's good subject matter. Let's try and get your dad to be more of a focus point. And believe it or not, sticking your subject in the middle of the photo doesn't communicate what you think it does. So let's grab this top left corner. Let's bring it down so that grid line is now on your dad's eye and Gareth's eye as well. That just happens to be, we're just lucky, okay? And now if I push enter, okay, so now, in my opinion, and it's totally taste and it's totally subjective, this image communicates better information because you've got a nice angle from here to here. So you know that the first thing you see on the left is your dad, so you know he's the subject, and you know that Gareth is another subject. This bottle's still in frame. You could tighten it up even more. Maybe if we bring up the bottom left-hand corner just to get the bottle out of frame. Okay, now we look at the before and after. The before is not going to show me the crop, unfortunately. Okay, but that's fine. So yeah, I think that's a good photo, dude. If you zoom in, you'll see all this noise now. You see all this grain and banding. Let's just do one more panel quickly. So we go down to detail. Sharpening we leave alone. Noise reduction, you've got a luminance noise reduction, which is the noise reduction between tones of the same color, and you've got color noise reduction. Now watch, if I turn color noise reduction off, look at all these funny ugly greens and blues and things you get. That's because of the camera, that's fine. So let's put that back where it was. But we want to get rid of some of this grain, which is luminance noise. So let's just get rid of a little bit, not too much. Look how, if we go extreme, see how it over smoothens your dad? Over smoothens your dad. Oh, it's so funny. So let's just bring it up a little bit. Zoom back out. Yeah, there you go. Looking good. Okay, so I think that picture's done. Let me know if you want to learn about anything else. If there's anything that bugs you about this picture, maybe I should teach you things that you want to learn. But I think give this a go. Use that same picture in Lightroom and see if you can use this histogram to bring it back to a similar look. I'm going to export this image now and send it to you. Okay, Dest. Love to help you, dude. So if you got questions, shout. Okay, bye.